Can artificial intelligence have own fundamental rights? Can it have human dignity? Is it subject to human dignity? This question, depending a little bit on how we decide about moral acting of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence cannot act morally, because artificial intelligence, as we have now, the weak artificial intelligence, but maybe ever, even if we have a strong artificial intelligence, will never be able to act with feelings, with compassion, with love, with hatred. It will not make sensitive mistakes, and it will not be flexible. This means moral as a flexible individual concept will not be in artificial intelligence, as it is not morally, it is not individually. That we can maybe program certain legal rules into the artificial intelligence does not mean that it acts morally, because rules applying is much more than just apply the letters of the rule, of the legal rule. It is knowing about the limits and about the widening of the rule in certain situations, depending on human situations, depending on human dignity, depending on the principle of equilibrance, depending of situations the legislator did not foresee. Sometimes we must apply the rule wider, sometimes we must apply the rule less. And artificial intelligence will not be able to know that, because artificial intelligence cannot have a feeling for the human suffering in a situation of someone subject to the rule. This means there is no ethical acting, it is just an empty, a very cold, programmed application of law. This means there is no different kind of moral or different kind of artificial intelligence. It is very dangerous to say there is a different kind of moral, different kind of ethic of artificial intelligence, because then the humanity would be able to give responsibility to machines and is not responsible for infringement of human dignity. This would be very dangerous unless we find rules how we integrate artificial intelligence, strong artificial intelligence, into our society, but this is science fiction. As there is no moral acting of the artificial intelligence, we also must say there is no reason for that to give human dignity to the artificial intelligence. If there was moral acting, really strong moral acting, and not just simulating feelings or emotions like this android Sophia in Saudi Arabia, in this case we would say what is acting morally must have protection by the constitution, similar to the human. But as there is no acting morally, we don't have to protect. By the way, the concept of the human dignity is belonging to the human being. And the human being is protected by the human dignity independent of the will of the legislator. The legislator cannot decide to give human dignity to human beings or not. The human being has human dignity because it is a human being. This is a natural law concept which is over positive. It is exactly the nature of the human, giving the human certain rights, cannot be taken away from any legislator, cannot be limited by any legislator who infringed the human dignity, and therefore the legal nature of the human being would be not a just legislator. And artificial intelligence judges could not measure that. So this is very dangerous, and we must say artificial intelligence is just a product of the human being and can of course not be protected by the same rights like the human being itself. Whether we want to reason this from religion, the religious way of the natural law, or we want to see it more secular, then it is still an over-positive metaphysical point over the legislative power. Doesn't matter. So we can conclude in this part, human dignity is not for the artificial intelligence, most likely also not in the future. It is not protected by the fundamental rights as part of the human dignity. And second, artificial intelligence cannot act morally, cannot act ethically, and so is also not a certain different agent for moral.